Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. We say the things on here that nobody dares say. We're just waiting for Andy to join us. Women love him, men want to be him. How are you doing, Andy?
Mate, yourself.
I'm all right, mate. What are you up to? You sat in the cave.
In my cavern. Do you notice anything different?
Yeah, go on. Chaz and Dave on your wall.
Ah, eagle eyes.
Is that what you put?
Look,
Is that what you put up? Yeah, Chaz and Dave.
James will like that, eh?
Yeah, he's a Chaz and Dave fan, isn't he, James?
I love Chaz and Dave. I've seen them about 3 times live. Eh? Absolutely fantastic. Uh, no, I've not done anything at my wall for ages. So I was in here the other night. I thought, "Oh, yeah, Chaz and Dave is the next one. I think Freddie Starr and the Midnighters goes up there. That's in the original cavern club in Liverpool. So I've seen Freddie Starr live, so he can go up there. So,
Is that him away to
uh,
Amster? Is
sorry.
that him away to Amster?
Ah, well, supposedly.
Supposedly.
According to the Sun newspaper, but
Oh, I won't believe what we're reading the current bun.
you wipe more if you wipe your backside with that, it'll be more poo came off the paper, eh?
Yeah. Do you know Chaz and Dave? Is that them who sang that Snooker Loopy?
Aye, yeah,
Barry
yeah.
Hearn, mates from Essex.
Oh.
Well,
Buzz Epstein.
Basil Epstein, right. Well, there's a lot going on, Andy, in last
Yeah.
few days, and I thought we'd like bring ourselves up to date with a few things. Because when was the last time you were on?
Through the week, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
Uh,
in the last week,
yeah,
Tuesday or something like that, were it? Last Tuesday.
something like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, we've had the Ring Magazine Awards, and obviously Turki Al-Sheikh, this Arab guy, Saudi guy, he's
yeah,
got Ring Magazine for $7 million off Oscar De La Hoya, and it's looking like they want to control boxing now, innit? Because they've got Ring Magazine, they're putting everything in place. I ain't got a problem with it as long as all the fights are happening. But do you think
yeah.
that it's all forced? What do you make of it all?
Um, I think it's a force for good in boxing because well, I, I was skeptical at the start of this Saudi stuff and that, as were most people probably. But from what he's doing, he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's making the fight. I think he is actually a boxing fan. And I watched some of that Ring Awards, and he looks in awe when he meets folk like Holyfield, and he looks like a kid in a sweet shop, Turkey Al-Sheikh, when he's got all the folk there, and he knows how to put a party on, doesn't he? When you look at all that, what's going on?
You know, he's had the Cobra out there, hasn't
Nah, I mean, just because where he's from, there's in the past there's been human rights
he? Yeah.
issues or questions hanging over that, but that's not you can't blame him for that, eh? He's trying to do the best he can from what it looks like for boxing, and I hope he cleans it up and makes you. There's people getting well paid out there, I believe, so
Yeah.
that's got to be good, eh? That's got to be good.
Well,
And there's been
the show on February 22nd is probably the best show that's been on since Don King were in his pomp.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
That
I know
show
it's
is fantastic, isn't it?
oh unbelievable, eh? Unbelievable. Any day fights could top a bill on normal shows, couldn't they?
Yeah. A lot of the characters that were there at that Ring Magazine Awards and all that, obviously it's their first award since they've bought Ring Magazine. All the usual suspects were there, and the Gad turned up, of course. Yeah.
It's no show without punch, eh?
Yeah. Crusher Ben turned up with an haircut like his dad's from late 80s. Did you see it?
Yeah, is that to show his new tattoos on his side of above his ear and all that? I don't
Yeah.
know.
What did you make of Martin McCauley walking up to Big Meech and putting it on him, telling him he's going to put him on Button Moon inside a round?
Good on him, eh? He's probably needing to do more of that, eh? Go out, putting himself out there. Now he's
Well,
back in the
yeah,
country.
you're probably right, Andy. You're probably right about that because he's an hard sell, isn't he?
Ah. but he's a big jolly guy. When you see him talking and that, he's always smiling, isn't he?
Yeah,
And
there'll be a amount of money that's on offer at the moment.
and he certainly talks with his fists inside the ring, like he barred Tony Yoka, didn't he? And then he's done Jared Anderson, but he's not getting the opportunity. I think he could have done more up till now if he'd had the proper opportunities. But I think Bricktop and Eddie Hills, they didn't want him anywhere near their fighters, do they? He's a danger man.
But what they do with Danger Man promoters, I've noticed is they put obstacles in front of them to get them out of the way. It's like
I think,
but you're protecting your king with pawns, isn't it? You know, like Anthony Joshua. He didn't really want to fight Luis Ortiz, but he had to do because he were coming up in rankings. So Eddie signed Ortiz to keep Joshua away from him, didn't he?
yeah,
That's what they're doing with McCauley. They keep putting people into him, don't they? They thought they would have got rid of him, didn't they? When he in that
yeah,
last, they thought Yoka were going to get rid of him, didn't they? So he's here to stay, but commercially, he's a non-event, isn't he? If he were anybody else, Eddie Hills or old Dinted, they'd be all of him like a rash, wouldn't they?
yeah. As I've said before, I think I look more at what they do in the ring than outside the ring. I mean, Sonny Liston wasn't a huge personality, was he? He
He
did
was
his
a killing
talking
guy.
in.
He was breaking people's ribs though and jaws, wasn't
Oh, smashing people to bits, wasn't he? So he did his talking inside the ring, and I think McCauley's a bit like that as well.
he? Yeah. Michael Hunter though.
Yeah, Michael. I've heard, I've heard a few people say McCauley was injured in that fight. Whether that was right or no, before he shouldn't have been fighting, but whether that's right or no, he decided to take the fight, didn't he? So it's up to him. If he was injured, he still fought, didn't he? So he got beat. But Hunter's a good fighter. I thought he beat Povetkin, and he was unlucky. Povetkin was lucky to get a draw in that fight. He blows a bit hot and cold, but he's a decent heavyweight, Hunter.
Do you know who's the only person who were running around, Andy, saying that Martin McCauley were injured? Billy Nelson.
I've heard a few other people say that though. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't
Billy's
think off the
friends.
top of my head. Billy's mates, aye.
Now, what it is, you see, right? You know, an hour before they fight, they have to sign a form with a doctor to say, I'm fit to fight.
Yeah, so
Once
it's
you
on there.
sign that, all that about, oh, I was injured, it don't wash with me, that, because you signed that form.
No,
You see where I'm coming from?
the onus is on the fighter. If he says he's fit, he's
Yeah.
fit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to see that rematch so I give him a chance to.
You're not going to go near him. It won't. No, he won't go near him. I don't think he will. I'm a firm believer that a good cruiserweight always gives a good heavyweight a hard time, mate.
Yeah,
I've always been a firm believer in that. Ever since I saw Holyfield knocking them all about. And
a
then,
smaller, fast heavyweight that's
yeah,
tough. That's just a good recipe
Mike
for.
Tyson figure in today's scene. You know, 15 stone 10, 16 stone max. Where would he figure now? A 16 stoner against all these? He'd be like an Usyk type of guy. Get side.
Yeah, in his prime he would have been that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was. But I think we've said before, Tyson was a good on-top fighter. But if he came up against somebody that started hitting him back, like Holyfield did and or Buster Douglas did, he comes unstuck after a while. I think if he can't get somebody out of there. Early on, he had good boxing. He had a good jab for a short fighter, didn't he? He was good timing, Tyson.
Yeah.
But he didn't knock everybody out. That's a myth, isn't it? You hear these folks saying, "Oh, Tyson knocks everybody out in the first, second round." No, no, no. James Quick Tillis, Mitch Blood Green, James
Both
Bone Crusher
yeah.
Smith, Tony Tucker, they all took him a distance. And that was when he was in his prime, wasn't
Yeah, but Bone Crusher Smith and Tony Tucker were world champions as well, weren't they?
it? Yeah, yeah,
There were no mugs.
no.
I spoke earlier about it with some of the commission lads, Sean, a few others. I've already spoke to Terry about this a few times, Kent. Fighters who are being froze out at the moment. The rumor mills astounding with this one that Dillian Whyte, there's no room at the inn for Dillian Whyte. 4-time drug cheat. Nobody wants to take a chance on him. And he messed Bricktop about with the Tyson Fury show at Wembley. And Eddie Hills told him You don't need to help promote the fight because you're a mandatory and you're guaranteed your purse. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. Do you think it's over for Dylan now? Do you think he's on scrappy?
I think so, and it serves him right.
You think, yeah?
Aye. Well, I'd like to see somebody's, like I've said before, any drug cheats, I want to see them smashed out of the sport. I want to see them, not to see anybody injured, but I want to see them humiliated, like knocked down about half a dozen times and sent packing, on your way. Enough.
Well, now that we've spoke about it today with a few lads on here, I guarantee you, sure as eggs are eggs, watch TalkSport, take my words now, and run with this week. Now, we've been making notes for months about what they do with because I'm the first person to come out with it, aren't I?
Yeah.
Right. You watch what happens now, all you listeners, with Dillian Whyte. You watch. You might learn something today. Okay. Do you think Dillian Whyte deserves it then, really? Because he's been given chance after chance after chance. He's not really fighting anybody, and he's getting to a stage where he's fighting for free just to stay active, isn't he?
He's not even born to get in shape, is he?
No. Part of a pig Michelin man.
Yeah. So, nah, he's done now, as far as I'm concerned. He got the biggest purse of his career against Fury and couldn't even be asked to promote it or whatever, or
Yeah.
refused to promote it. So he's cut his own throat there, hasn't
Of course he has, yeah, because now he's on back foot now, and he wanted to be everybody's mate.
he? Yeah.
Bricktop saying no talks are happening for Fury with Joshua. Eddie's saying he's reserved Wembley for July. That the deal's closed. So who do we believe?
If that is the case, I could see Fury just saying he's not going to fight him just to piss Eddie Hills off because he's reserved Wembley. But who knows, eh? Who do you believe? You can't believe any of them, eh?
I don't believe
Who
none.
else?
Line them all up. Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Big Ron, Dennis Hobson. Line them all up and say, right, which one's telling the truth? And
They'd all sell their granny, wouldn't they?
hey,
They'd all sell their granny, wouldn't they?
lots of them would. Mainly for a bit of PR just to get out there, not the money. They just like to be out there. I mean, I remember a time when Bricktop used to stick it to Eddie Hills, because all he did were interview after interview after interview, right? Well, that's all we're seeing now from him, isn't it?
Uh,
It's true, isn't it? That's all we're
that's
seeing. That's all he does, interviews all the time.
YouTuber's favourite, eh?
Oh, he's a favourite, mate. But the media at the moment are in a position now where they're all doing as a told with promoters, aren't they?
Yeah.
How can people have YouTube channels like The Gad, AD Alapido, Puppy Parsons? How can they have YouTube channels and work for TalkSport and DAZN?
Conflict interest, isn't it? Or, yeah, unless they're just promoting the TalkSport narrative through their own channels, eh?
They're not. They're the PR men for promoters, and it's got to stop because they're not doing the jobs correctly. None of these are
No.
going into bat for people like Caballel, Martin Bacoli, Huey Fury. These guys are Caballel, Bacoli, and Huey. They don't shout the mouse off on social media, do they? Huey's
No.
not even hit the deck, right? And if you look at the 3 defeats Huey's had, Povetkin, he got old manned, robbed against Parker, and he got a bad cut early doors against Pulev. They were cutting sparring, but yet they're not getting the flowers out of these lads. And these media guys are not going into bat for them because of politics behind the scenes. And they need to take a good look at themselves. You Judge Jordans, he were going to do wonders when he came into the sport of boxing. Failed at football. He were going to do wonders with TalkSport. All he's trying to do is promote himself so he gets a spin-off on ITV or Perks. These people are not doing their jobs right. They're not. They're picking bones out other people's channels and they're going down other avenues with what they're doing, and it's wrong. And I want to see some of these media guys come out and say, "Do you know what? This ain't right. What's going on?" Nobody mentions Caballel, do they? Who
Yeah,
mentions him? Nobody
that's
dare,
all.
nobody dare
Can't remember.
breathe him, eh?
They're just like Bricktop's choir boys or something like that, aren't they? That's what they're like.
That's
They've
what's
got a
going
whistle
on.
there.
All roads lead to Bricktop now. I mean, I had to laugh, but Eddie Hills in his Simon Templar tuxedo. Do you remember him? Who used to drive a Jensen Interceptor in the Saint? Eddie's there in a white Simon Templar stroke Roger Moore white tuxedo and a black Nicky roll, something like from 1970s.
Or
And
Sean Connery.
he's not on the top table with Turkey and Bricktop. So apparently,
Nowhere.
somebody, "Well, what's the seating arrangement here?" They've gone, "You're sitting there." How's about that one? Pop, pop, bang.
Eddie had to do the dishes, I heard. Is that right? No.
Hey, just to stay in the mix.
To sing for his supper, eh? He's dressed like Sean Connery. He was definitely a shite for sore eyes.
Go on, Andy. Pop, pop, bang. Uh,
I feel a thumbnail coming on with him in his white tuxedo.
yeah. Well, Eddie's talking Battle of Britain in July, but it's not so long ago that Fury were running around with an Irish flag and Joshua a Nigerian flag. Now all of a sudden, it's Battle of Britain.
International.
You could have.
International rescue.
Uh,
No.
what did you think to the Cobra interviewing Turkey?
Well, I see he's getting he's getting a lot of hate over it, but I might be in the minority, but I go the other way because I made a video back in September because Turkey Al-Sheikh was on Talksport at the time, and he
Yeah.
was saying how he wanted to listen to the people at Talksport and all this. So I made a video up saying the people he should be listening to is you, Carol Froch, Peter Fury, and Julian McGowan. I made a video about that and back in September. So I'm quite happy that he's got an interview with Carol Froch.
Yeah.
So he'll maybe. I think he's listening to people, and I think he doesn't want to listen to the big noise. He wants to listen to like the fans and the
Yeah.
people with a bit of knowledge. So I think he might come champing your door yet, Russ. He might send you.
Well,
You
he
might get
can
an
come to
email.
my door anytime as long as it's on Zoom, but I don't want to go to his country. Like, I don't like
Yeah,
flying anyway. I'm not a big fan of flying. So he can
and
come.
that's fair enough, because he is coming over here. He's having that ring thing here. He didn't have to have it here. He could have had that in Saudi, couldn't he?
Yeah, oh, that Ring Magazine job. Yeah, of course he could, yeah.
I don't know. It's a fair play on.
Well, he's obviously had to get in, had to get friendly with all the rest of the media because he might be sick to death for all them arselookers going out there now. Can you imagine
Yeah.
how many people have been blowing bubbles up his arse? Can you imagine? He's probably sick.
At least Froch called Bricktop and Eddie Hills by their proper titles, didn't he, when he was
Yeah,
talking to them? So good on him.
yeah. I'm surprised he didn't ask him though why he likes to hold people's hands. No, I won't
Aye.
pull that me, but he didn't ask that, did he?
He'll maybe do that next time, but
Well, I think he might get his feet under the table, Carl, get comfortable, and then go after all of them.
yeah. I mean, if that is a cultural thing, he's not going to want to insult him straight
No,
off, is he? So,
well, it could be that. It could be that. So, yeah,
aye.
it could be a cultural thing, but it doesn't happen where I live.
No, not me.
Okay. Anthony Joshua, he didn't take the Dubois rematch. He had the rematch clause inserted in it, even though he was a challenger. And they bumped into each other at the Ring Magazine Awards. Why he'd be there, I don't know, because he got wiped out by Dubois. So why would you feel the need to turn up there? Because you've got no to come. Why don't you just stop at home and rest up? Because they have to get the sons out there because they've written the missing some at half of them, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, boxing people, that nosiest people in sport, aren't they, really? Let's be honest.
yeah. He's come there for his tea, I think.
They've gone there for something. They've gone there because Eddie's there with begging bowl out now, isn't he? But looking at
That's it.
Eddie's roster, people keep going on about Eddie's roster of fighters. Well, he's got Joshua, who's basically finished, isn't he?
Yeah,
So he's a has-been. Conor Ben, Crusher, he's a never been.
yeah.
these are his two big pay-per-view stars that he's telling everybody. Is that it? Who else has he
That's his two. That's his two magic beans. Has been and never been. So
got then? Really, he's in the wilderness when you look at it, and he's never been this weak, has he? Really, Eddie? Ever?
he's got Opetaya, hasn't he? That's
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
but he's not. He's not a Brit, is he?
No, Biville's not
Where's
right
his
either.
British guys? We're not on about Aussie. J.O. Pataya's a cruiserweight, isn't it? It's a division nobody gives a toss about, and he's an Aussie. Let's have it right. So Canelo, has he got a relationship with Canelo? I'm not so sure on that one now. I don't hear any big noises about him bigging Canelo up. So I'm just wondering, is Eddie in the Last Chance Saloon?
He does have a soft spot for Australians, though, doesn't he? Or is it a
Oh
hard
yeah,
spot?
Eddie likes Australia, doesn't he? Don't you, Eddie?
He's a fan of Down Under, I believe.
What do you think about the situation with this Sky Nicholson, Eddie's bit of fluff, right? And people like Coogan saying she's fighter at year and all this nonsense. And what these people are just PR people for Eddie, aren't they? Really?
They're just cringe, aren't they? Cringe.
IFL naming Sky Nicholson as female fighter at year. Oh, what a surprise that is! I mean, she's a boring fighter. She's not exciting. She's not like Katie Taylor, Shannon Courtney. Ebony Bridges is more exciting, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Chantel Cameron, Savannah, Terry Harper. I mean, she's a backpedaler, but Terry's a free weight champion, isn't she? So
yeah.
she's done more than her. So why is Coogan giving Sky Nicholson female fighter of the year? Coogan, you ultimate licker. You are a human centipede.
A reptile.
I know. Uh, Ben Shalom sent a legal letter to Bricktop regarding Ben Whitaker, Liam Cameron, and all the rest of that nonsense. Uh, it's looking like Ben Whitaker don't want that Liam Cameron smoke. What do you think to that, Andy?
Yeah, that fight needs to happen. There's no way they can say that it's Liam Cameron doesn't want to fight. That's just plain obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blind man could see that. So that fight needs to happen. Ben Whitaker can't legitimately move on with his career unless he beats Liam Cameron. And I don't think he will beat Liam Cameron. I think he's realised he's up against it. He doesn't hit hard enough to beat tough guys, I don't think. And if if tough guys are feeling that he's not got much power to walk through him, they'll just keep
Well,
coming at him.
Liam's never been stopped.
Nah, he's a tough guy, isn't he?
I've known Liam 10 years, right? And he's from the school of hard knocks, and he is a tough kid. He's from a tough estate. Um, I think Liam were beating him.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
I thought so. He was coming on, wasn't
they're walking him down. And the I don't know what, for some reason they found a way out to get out, and what was it, a draw in
he?
end, but it
Yeah, I won money on that. I put money on a draw. The reason I put money on a draw was because I thought there's no way Liam's going to get it on the cards, eh? But I thought he was
yeah,
going to give Whitaker a hard time, So, but I got it by a draw by kind of default, didn't it?
well, the technical decision draw on it really, but I think
Yeah.
Liam would have walked him down
Yeah.
himself. I went by recently the live large or something, live life large, Bosch. Daddy Fudd laid on the settee in black boxer shorts with his tits and his belly hanging out. What do you make of all this scenario here with Daddy Fudd and Baby Fudd, Elmer, and Lazy Rhino and all this, and Lazy Rhino coming out saying, "I've watched it back, and do you know what? I lost." Andy, can you
He's
help?
off his nut.
Andy, you help me to help you. Help me out here, Andy, please, because I'm losing will to live.
He's off his nut. I mean, fair play to Big Daddy Bosch. Uh, he comes across as a passionate family man. I like that, But and he's doing a good job selling his son, but his son does have limitations, as Dave Allen showed. But that needs to be a rematch as well. And Dave Allen needs to pull his head out his backside and sell himself instead of talking himself down all the time. He knows he won that fight, so he needs to get himself a kick up the backside. And I thought he would have stopped him, but didn't he? Maybe he wasn't fit enough to apply enough
Do you think
constant
he's been
pressure.
told to say that?
I think so. You'll get the rematch if
Playing a
you.
bit of possum here and trying to make out he's not bothered and make them come back to him with a better offer or something. I don't know. That fight's
Uh,
got to happen on it for boxing and for their careers.
yeah, that's got to happen. The fans will demand it, won't they?
Well, Elmer Fudd can't move on unless he deals with this, can he? I mean, Elmer's running round saying, "Oh, I had my eardrum and blah de blah and this and that, and I were off balance." Well, look, it were a legal shot that hit you. It's boxing. When you get hit in the head in boxing, sometimes your legs turn to jelly and you go on the floor. It's not his fault. It's just a natural reaction from getting hit by a big fella. So it's part and parcel of the game. You can't start running around saying, "Well, I got punched inside the head and I were off balance." Well, you play. It's boxing. It's not tennis, is it?
No, not a pillow fight, is it?
Yeah, there you go.
Let's just hope Turkey makes it happen, eh?
Yeah, did you see Daddy Fudd and the Gad going at it? Yeah.
Go and have your dinner, John.
I know, yeah. Uh, Amir Khan and KSI, what do you think to that talk?
Amir Khan needs to stay retired. He's. I would hate to see. I mean, I think he would stand KSI in his head, but I would hate to see some scenario where he got knocked out by a nobody. Ken what I
Oh,
mean?
he
By
did a
a
Mike Tyson and just carried him.
ah, that'd just be dreadful. It just would be. It would just ruin his reputation altogether, wouldn't
It'd kill it off, wouldn't it? Joe Joyce says he's plenty left in tank for a good few years, 40 in a few months. What do you reckon to that? I mean, he's already sounding nearly as bad as Fred Dou's son, Scooby, Derek Chisora.
it? Yeah.
What do you think there with Joe Joyce? Do you think he might be suffering a bit of brain damage or something going on in his head there? What do you think?
I think he's always talked about like that, hasn't he? But I don't know. I'd have to look up videos on way back, when he was an amateur. But I think he's always kind of been a bit a slow talker and that. He's a big tough guy, but too tough for his own good. He could end up turning bad. He's not had that many fights, has he? But he's got a lean record, like we talked about. Usyk having a lean record. He's matched tough for day one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I had to run an errand for Dennis years ago. Went down to EAS and he were there years and years and years, about 9, 10 years ago. And
Mhm.
he were a big dummy then. You know what I mean? And he's an even bigger dummy now. And he's made a few quid, so he should get out of sport. These people like him and rest of them, they're clogging up the division at that age. Your Chisoras and him and all these old timers. Get gone out the sport and let the next generation come through. You're clogging up the division. And they're
He'd
only
probably
acting out for greed.
he'd probably be a good fight for Wardley next, I would think.
Wardley
But
lights him up.
I think so. Yeah, you got to favour Wardley in that, but Wardley's needing a fight, isn't he? So,
Listen, mate,
well,
that Wardley's got the devil in him, mate. He's full.
mm,
Everybody's been saying for years, oh, he's going to get beat next time. He'll get beat. He'll get beat. He'll get found out. He's from white collar. He's from white collar. Whatever he's got going, he's doing it right, because
he's
he's
proved
knocking
himself, hasn't
people out.
he? Look at that knockout of Fraser Clark. That was horrible knockout,
Look what
wasn't
he
it?
did
But
to its big freeze after that first fight. You couldn't have seen that, could you?
you see that coming, eh? I mean, I heard story. I don't know where it was. It was a story about him. They said he used to be like a bare knuckle fighter. He would turn up at organised fights, underground fights, and he would turn up himself. He didn't have a team or nothing. He turned up himself and did the business. So whether
Well,
that's right or no, but I did hear it. I'm sure I heard. I can't remember where I heard that, but
he's
I think.
obviously got a pair of gonads on him. If that's the
Oh,
case,
aye, no doubt about that. He doesn't mind getting stuck in, no matter who it is, does he?
yeah.
Whoever's put in front of him.
Do you think AJ's had more critics than Fury? Uh,
Hmm.
in last, with them Usyk defeats. Do you think that AJ? Because do you think
Um,
and whose performance would you say were best against Usyk's, Fury's or AJ's?
I would say I would say Fury. I think not much in it, right enough, but I would say Fury was slightly better. But in that second fight, I thought he wasn't keen to commit himself, was he?
Oh, Fury.
Fury, yeah.
Think that was because at weight he were carrying that extra weight.
I think that'll be part of it, and he didn't want a reoccurrence in the ninth round in the first fight, did he?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's gun shy, but he's probably thinking twice about wanting to get hurt again, as bad as that. But
Yeah.
you can only go like coming into their fight if they fight, you're only as good as your last fight. So I think Fury performed better in his last fight than Joshua did in his. Big Meech did in his.
Yeah.
But against there's no way that was a split decision. The Joshua rematch with Usyk. That just gives the promoters a narrative, bullshit narrative. Oh, it was a close fight, wasn't it? Wasn't it close? Wasn't it close at all?
No, I don't think all four of them fights were close either. I don't think
No,
Usyk lost more than 3 rounds in any of them fights.
no.
He just goes through the gears, doesn't he, once he's weighed him up?
He's a genius, isn't he? Really, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, okay, do you want to go on to part two, Andy?
Yeah, no problem. Just give me five.
Part two, only give 6 minutes, 10 past, yeah?
10 past, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
mate. See you then.
Right. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Max, don't text me ever again until you're 18 stone. Pop, pop, bang.